and that will be sent out sometime tomorrow. So keep an eye out for that recording. I'm sure there will be a lot of fantastic information shared here that you might need to go back and reference. So that's why we want to make sure that these are recorded and sent directly to you. Also attached to that is a questionnaire. We value your opinion as students and alumni here at WGU. Actually, a lot of the sessions that we end up hosting are based off of your feedback. So if you could just take the time to fill that out, should take you no more than 2 minutes to do so. As you've seen, the chat is open, so feel free to post questions into the chat. We will have a designated Q&A at the end of the session, so if you want to hold off on questions until then, that would be great, but I would post questions into the chat, and then what we'll do is we'll read those off and get those answered for you. Also want you to take advantage of the opportunity. Obviously, we're here to learn about some great opportunities with the Venetian, but also take this opportunity to build out your professional network and network with each other. So one thing I would recommend doing, like, hey, share your LinkedIn in the chat and get connected to those also attending. It's a great opportunity to do that. So certainly feel free to post your LinkedIn into the chat, expand on that professional network with your, if you're a current student, with your fellow students, or alum with some fellow alumni, or vice versa. So make sure we're taking advantage of that. This is part of Career Quest, so if this is your first session, or maybe you have attended a few of our sessions previously, this is a great opportunity to connect directly with employers that are interested in our students and alumni here at WGU. So we do have the rest of this week for Career Quest, and then a couple sessions next week. So if you haven't, and this is your first one, I would tell you certainly take advantage of some of the other sessions that we have rolling out. You can register for those right in Handshake and take a look at what we have coming up on our website. And from here, what I will do, without further ado, is I will pass it over to Jason. Jason, floor is yours.
WGU students, alumni, thank you guys so much for taking the afternoon and spending some time with me. I'm going to share my screen and just kind of talk about everything Venetian. So I'm assuming you guys can all see what I have up here, but I'm here with the Venetian. Just a little bit about me, and I know the last thing you want to do is see my stupid face, but I feel like my story is important. So I oversee the talent acquisition team, and I also oversee all of our experiences on property. I originally started my career in finance. I spent about 10 years doing investment banking, some real estate, portfolios, business management, things like that. Sometime in my career, I woke up hating my job, and not, I don't want to steer any of the finance majors away, but it just wasn't what I was looking for. And, anytime I talk to anyone in class and college, is that, sometimes finding your journey is, people always tell you do what makes you happy, and it's really hard to um, do that until you actually step shoes into that. So sometimes moving sideways um, is important. I feel like everyone in here is kind of in different walks of life, different steps in their journey. So hopefully, through whether it's your connections or what you do or what you hear or what you see, like, you help gain some insights in that, and that's really what I'm here for. Um, I'm a resource to you guys, even if we leave today's discussion determining that maybe it's not the right time, maybe there aren't any openings, maybe it's just not a good career opportunity for you. Please just add me on LinkedIn. I'd love to take a look at your resume, offer some of my team to do mock interviews, maybe just to give any advice that they can help, as you try to figure things out and look for opportunities, look for internships. I've been with the Venetian now since 2021. I was with a company, Station Casinos, prior. So Station Casinos owns about 15 casinos here. During COVID, took a little bit of time off. So yeah, 4 years here now. Loved every minute. Love what I do. Never change my career, just being able to help people and meet with people like you every day. A little bit about the Venetian. So a lot of text here, and I'm not going to go through that, but the Venetian, largest hotel in the United States, second largest hotel in the world. The only other larger hotel is in Dubai. We have about 7,200 suites. Um, we are currently investing somewhere in the upwards of $2 billion to just reinvigorate the property. We're remodeling all the rooms. We're opening new restaurants. We are opening next week. Cote, which is a Michelin star rated Korean steakhouse. That's just one of many things that we're doing. You'll see on the news a lot that Vegas is seeing some slowdown, but really we're still seeing record number of stays, visitations here to the Venetian. And I think it's due to all the things that we're trying to do. Like we have the Wizard of Oz at the Sphere, a bunch of different restaurant opportunities. Really, when people come to visit Vegas now, it really is at the Venetian. For those who live here, hopefully you've had a chance to visit. We've done a lot of new things. So if you're ever on property, send me a message. We'll go to lunch, all right? So on property, we have about 9,000 team members. And prior to me joining the hospitality segment, I was pretty naive to the industry. All of my family, they're dealers. And I thought the casino only employed housekeepers and dealers. And that was the worst mistake that I could have ever made jumping into it. We have 100 different business areas, ranging from cybersecurity to IT, finance, accounting, analytics, um, everything that goes into making this a successful operation. We probably have a position for you. So, kind of jumping into it, first I'm going to talk about internships. So, we have a summer internship program here at the Venetian. Our summer internship program, it's a 10-week program, and you must be available on site. It's a paid program, starts in late May and goes to early August. We open our applications starting late December. So in about 2 months' time here, we're going to open our applications. We take about 20 interns a year. Really is a great opportunity to start to get experience in your field. So whether you're changing careers, you're learning something new, you are jumping into your first career, we have an opportunity that you can fit into. You guys would all qualify. Our internship started at 18. There are some roles here that do require that you be 21. We, have certain gaming regulations and things like that that you would be required to have those licenses for. If you're not from Vegas and you are looking for an internship opportunity, we work closely with the university, which is about 6 minutes from here, where we have housing and, on property, we offer meals and stuff. So, there's a lot of different things that you could take advantage of and also get to spend 10 weeks in Las Vegas for the summer. Just to give you guys an idea of some of the areas that we cover, it's not limited. We update and change our programs every summer, but these are just an example of some of the ones we've done in the past. Again, accounting, finance, sustainability, cyber, food and beverage, hotel, legal. A lot of the things that we're starting to see career-wise is we're starting to see a lot of data analytic programs pop up. So you'll see on here, casino analytics, revenue management, strategy, and financial planning, for those finance majors. So when we finish this and jump into the Q&A, be happy to answer any questions that anyone has about the internship programs. But if you connect with me on LinkedIn, once these jobs are live, I'll post on there. I'm happy to spend some time and connect with you about different opportunities. Our career website, we offer a number of full-time and part-time careers. Our career website is at the top. It's not a link there, but I'll definitely post the link in chat. Our career website right now has about 100 different opportunities. So a few things to that is, you know, I think WGU has such a flexibility factor to where you guys could, fit into a schedule for a position and still accomplish all the things you guys want to do academically. But there are jobs that run 24 hours a day, whether it's from the hotel to the casino. Our jobs change every day, so you may go on there today and not find anything, but I would definitely keep it in the back of your mind. So we update those daily. You'll see different things similar to the internship opportunities, um, IT, cyber, etc. The one thing I do have to note is right now our company isn't offering any fully remote positions. We do have hybrid roles, but it does require that you would be on site once or twice a week. So if you're looking for maybe a location change or you live here now, um, again, if you see anything on the website, I'm happy to connect on that. One of the best things about the company is some of our amazing benefits. We're one of the few employers here in Las Vegas that we pay for our team members, their spouses, and their dependents fully pay for their insurance, health, dental, vision. So generally, where you are, through your employer, you pay 180, $250 a month for insurance. We cover that cost 100%. Some generic, general things like a 401k, we do a match there. We have an on-site wellness center where you can meet with, mental health professionals, financial professionals, people just to help you with whatever separate journey you may be on in life. We have a daycare here on site. We are the last casino here in Las Vegas to offer an on-site daycare. I every day I see our team members dropping, their young ones off at the daycare. They're able to check on them at any time. Um, One of the big things for any students right now is we offer tuition reimbursement. So right now we do up to $2,500 per semester that's reimbursed to you. So if you're working in a part-time position, you could take advantage of tuition reimbursement. Reimburse part of the classes that you're taking. On-site fitness center, we provide our team members 2 meals a day at no cost and just a number of other things. So, when I think about finding a company that you fit in culturally, find a company that takes care of its employees, like Venetian really does well in that space. So that's just kind of a snapshot. Um, Again, I'm welcome to send this to you guys or answer any questions as we go through. But um, kind of short and simple and sweet. That's a general overview of the Venetian. Um, we do have quite a bit of time, so I'd love to answer any questions. Talk about the internship program a little bit more, maybe permanent career opportunities. So I'll open the floor back to RJ and maybe open up for some questions.
Awesome. Thanks, Jason. And yes, if you do have questions, feel free to post those into the chat. I have two questions right off the bat for you, Jason,
Yeah,
and it gives people a chance to type in those questions into the chat. First one, for the career site, are you able to set alerts to specific jobs for your career page?
yeah, absolutely. So if
Okay.
you are on the website, you go to the bottom, it will say like join into the newsletter. And the newsletter will set by area. So if you're looking for a sales role, you can kind of set your segments and it will email you notifications for new jobs in that space.
Awesome. And then the second question I had actually kind of ties into the first question that we have in the chat. How can students set themselves apart in the internship application process? And then I would even open that up further, like the entire, full-time, part-time. How can individuals really separate themselves when applying to some of these open positions that you all have?
One of the things that I see a lot through the internship application process is it's hard. Sometimes it's hard to define someone on paper, or it's hard to define maybe what their concentration is or what they're genuinely interested in. So a lot of times I'll see it, because it's hospitality used as an example, but pursuing their bachelor's in hospitality. But there's so many different segments that they could be applying to food and beverage hotel. So, if you have a set area or a set interest, maybe that doesn't really define based on what you're studying. Find ways to incorporate that so that you have, if you're applying for food and beverage and you have a food and beverage concentration, or if you are, let's say, an econ or a stats major, and you're applying for analytics, like how do I know based on paper that this is your path? This is the area you want to travel down, and I generally select out people, because I'll do the human resources intern that are specifically interested in human resources, and generally they'll find ways to put that on the resume. But um, human resources here, falls under hospitality. So if someone is in hospitality but they don't signal they're interested in human resources, sometimes those get kind of separated out as someone we don't generally pursue. Um, and then just resume tips or advice in general, like, you know, short and simple, maybe 2 pages max. Really bullet out the details of your responsibilities and how does your job relate or relevant experience to the job you're applying for. Um, a lot of people right now, because the job market's kind of weird, is just applying for a lot of jobs, and sometimes based on a resume, because that's the 30-second that we get a look and determine what it is that you're interested in or what your experiences are. It's hard to really sometimes relate experience to experience. So
Awesome. No, next question that came in through the chat. Tiffany had a question. I'm looking to graduate end of November 2025. Would I still be able to apply for an internship program in December?
so let's if you find some time to connect with me, let's talk about that one off. We will take graduates, but generally we'll take graduates from May the year of. So graduating May 2026, we'll take them for the summer program. At the end of the day, the internship program is it's really a 10-week interview, and for permanent roles that we have here, if you're graduating soon or you're graduating a couple years down the line, um, we should talk one off, because yes, technically anyone is eligible. Um, that has attended, but the 7 months may be a little far off. I'd like to take a look at your resume and maybe we could find 30 minutes on the side.
Awesome. And then Max and Liam, I'm going to kind of combine your questions. So with focusing on the internships, what is the structure of the internship program? And then you had answered the interns transitioning to full-time positions, but what does the structure of the internship look like? And then what does the typical growth path look like after that?
Yeah, absolutely. So the 10-week program, just to kind of give a general overview, interns generally spend about 4 days in their specific area. Um, So regardless of what you do, you may rotate within finance to, AP, AR, general ledger, things like that for 4 days. And then you spend one day on property in kind of a rotational. So you're working with other interns from different areas, like learning about the hotel side, learning about the casino side. Um, so it's a split. When people talk about rotationals where they rotate every other day, like here it's pretty consistent with what you're particularly focused on, for 4 days, and then one day just learning about the business operations. um, for transitions, interns into full time, like that's what the program is designed for. We generally um, retain between 5 and 7 interns a year, and then all of the interns are kept in a pipeline. So, some we have 2 or 3 years down the line that are set to graduate, but we maintain that contact pretty regularly. So, every year, and RJ and I were talking about New York. I'll visit our past interns and maintain that relationship. So when you guys are ready and to step into a full time opportunity, that hopefully we're kind of the first choice. The path really depends on your area. We um, have a lot of like data analytics or finance analytic majors that start in analyst roles. I give you an example. In 2023, we had an intern in revenue management. He returned the next year. He got promoted fairly quickly, so he moved from an analyst one to an analyst two, and now he's our data manager and finance analytics. So the opportunities are there. I think that's for any role, any position. But we, there's a lot of visibility from our senior leaders on our internship program. There's pretty regular contact points or meets with, our president, CEO, our CFO, et cetera. So the exposure is there, and you have the ability to kind of like value what you do. And that again kind of goes into what happens during the internship. Like there are different one-on-ones that you may have with different leaders, and there's that exposure there. Some companies you don't really get that high level of exposure, but we have pretty open door policy here, and there is those scheduled meetings.
Awesome. Next question. With operations running around the clock, are your career opportunities aligned along these same shifts, or are there certain shifts that have more opportunity over others?
Um, Trying to think about the best way to position that. I mean, there are a handful of jobs that are pretty standard Monday through Friday, 9 to 5. If you're on the floor or you're in certain casino roles, um, when we talk about opportunities, like opportunities for growth, I think those exist in all shifts. Um, there are definitely some shifts that are busier than other per se. So if you look at like monetary opportunities, like if you are in a tipped position and you're working, in the swing shift where there's a lot of traffic on the floor, um, there's that monetary opportunity, but then to like where we put the right people in the right place at the right time. So you may have a lot of management on the floor during, during the swing shift. Swing is like 5 to midnight or somewhere in that time where, maybe there's that exposure for you to see, to spend more time with management or going through some of those management learning opportunities. Hopefully that answers. There's not really a better shift. It's really based on your preference. I mean, some people love to work the graveyard shift so that they can rotate, a shift with their spouse and take care of their kids. Or, some people work 2 jobs, and sometimes the 24-hour opportunities kind of work a little bit better.
Next question. What qualities or experiences stand out the most when hiring talent for a world-class property like the Venetian, given the scale and expectations of luxury hospitality?
Great question. Um, I think having previous experience in the industry or at least some knowledge, the hospitality environment just operates a little bit different. I mean, how we leverage our customers, how we leverage like different areas of opportunity, whether it's convention sales or gaming or hotel. Um, when I think about looking someone that I'm looking for, like, do you fit in culturally? Like, I think everything that we do is rooted into hospitality and guest service. So, like, whether it's you're in an internal position where you're helping other team members, like in IT help desk, or whatever it may be. Like, really, do you have that culture aspect of just, having those conversations, um, being hospitable, like making sure that we provide a different level of service. Because when you mentioned it in there, but um, luxury hospitality, that's really what it is. Our guests sometimes spend, $900 a night to stay here, and they expect a certain, level of service. And I think that's kind of what we try to provide in everything that we do, regardless of your position.
Next question, what is it like living in Vegas? Frank, I saw you chimed in. Snowboarding is not one of the things that I think of with Las Vegas, so I appreciate that feedback. But yeah, Jason, what is it like living in Vegas?
Job market is good. Cost of living is fairly low. There is no state tax. Um, and I think if you work in a certain type of industry here, those skills you can utilize anywhere. So regardless of where you're at, I mean, if you're interested in exploring Las Vegas, I definitely spend some time and visit. Like, it's not just the strip. Like, there's so much outside of that. A lot of us that live here actually rarely visit the strip unless someone's in town, or there's a show. But it really is like everywhere else. Stuff used to be open 24 hours, but it's not anymore, including the Walmarts. They close at 11. So it's just like anywhere else. I think one of the main attractors that we have is, we'll get a lot of people in the tech segment that are, if you're coming from Seattle, Northern California, things like that. Like, it's expensive to live there. A lot of those areas are a little saturated in that space, so there's some layoffs happening. People move here and enjoy, like, not paying the state tax. It really is significant. Depending on what your salary range is. Um, to me, it's good living. I mean, it's a little warm in the summer, but I visit Florida in May, and Florida's way worse. So,
Next question that came in: how does the Venetian typically approach cloud engineering and cybersecurity? Do you keep those functions in-house and develop talent internally, for example, by hiring interns or recent graduates, or do you prefer to contract that work out?
um, cloud engineering, cybersecurity, a little bit different in the segments. But to short sum that up, is we always prefer to develop talent in house, or um, to hire a full time employee. So, contract to hire contract workers, it's actually extremely expensive. Any contract workers generally come with a markup, and two, like, there are certain level of controls that are hard to maintain when you don't fully employ someone. So, like, our cybersecurity team is fully in house. A lot of them came, with no experience, just like a CompTIA, or some of those entry level certifications. Started as NLS 1 and have moved up since. Cybersecurity is such a big field now, especially in our industry. For those who follow any of the news, like the MGM hacks, the Caesars hack, like, our entire state database got hacked. It was down for a week. A lot of companies are starting to, like, bolster those spaces, because, like, you really need to be proactive to those scenarios and not reactive. Um, the cloud engineering, we are moving our tech stacks. So we moved, from like a SQL or Tableau to, like, um, Google Cloud, AWS, things like that. So we're starting to see um, a lot of our analytical programs move into that space, and then move to cloud from our standard, like, data warehouse.
Next question that came in: what is one unique opportunity interns at the Venetian get that they might not find elsewhere in Vegas? Does the program accept 20 interns total, or 20 interns for each department?
20 interns total. Unique opportunities is, I think it's a certain level of building your skills is one. A lot of it's dedicated to networking, continue to refine your skills from professionals, having kind of that mentor or leader that's assigned to you that's been in the industry for a long time for your space. And I think it's a unique opportunity to understand how a business at our size operates. It's not a Microsoft, it's not a Google, but there really is so many moving parts to the company. How does finance work with HR, work with hotel? What systems are involved? P&Ls, like things that like that. That there's, I truly believe that we do provide another level of exposure to help you be successful in your next steps.
Awesome. And Frank, I love that thing that you threw into the chat. First thing they teach you in the casino industry, you make your money on the strip, you don't spend it there. So I think we can
The
all
first,
appreciate that.
that's the first thing they told my dad when he opened up the Mirage in '89. So,
Oh man, your dad must have been sad when it closed recently. They
we all were. We
yeah.
all were. It should have been a landmark. It should have never closed.
Yeah, they started to build the guitar. It's probably 100 feet high right now. So maybe in 2 years down, when you guys visit, you'll see the guitar fully built.
Is
You know,
so
I live.
oh, go ahead, Frank.
Uh, I'll type it in the chat. No big deal.
Uh, as far as like the internships, is housing provided for those, Jason?
So we don't provide housing. We do work with the university, and the housing with the university, it's $30 a day. So it ends up being $900 a month for our intern. That's kind of the relationship in the program that we work out for students who are coming in from another state.
Awesome. Is there somewhere that people can find out more information on the housing?
Yeah. What I can do is anyone who's interested in housing, I can send you the link from 2025. It is at University of Nevada, Las Vegas. It's about a 6 minute drive to property from there. Usually, what happens is like interns for the program will connect a couple weeks before that are housing at UNLV and kind of work out, rides to and from property and things like that. But I can definitely send a link to the UNLV housing information so it tells you what it provides and things like that. So the nice thing is for most of our interns, like generally you'll just pay for the housing. We on site, you could eat at our two of our employee dining rooms like for free. So you could have lunch and dinner here and, just pretty much pay for your room and board.
Awesome. Next one that came in, how does the identify and develop leaders internally in such a large and complex operation? What traits signal to you that someone is ready to take on more responsibility?
Yeah, I think it's always observed of people who want to do more. I think through any department, anything that you do, if you're willing to like be that person that takes on the responsibility or offers the support or assistance, you definitely get recognized in your area. We have a pretty large talent management team, which you know sets helps set people on the right path. So if they want a job change and learn those different skills, or they want to be leaders, like we have programs that help you gain like some of the technical leadership skills with just things like payroll, scheduling, like some having some of those conversations, whether they're um, disciplinary or whatnot, or reviewing P&Ls. So though there's courses that we offer internally or programs that help you like learn those skills that you don't always gain just by doing the job.
When it comes to cybersecurity, the industry as a whole tends to not hire true entry-level employees, requiring years of experience to get in. What does the Venetian require for an entry-level cybersecurity position?
Yeah, absolutely. I think our cybersecurity interns definitely have a leg up because they've spent 10 weeks in the environment. But I do believe that statement is true to an extent because I do see a lot of people, taking classes for cybersecurity, but I think it's just about getting the basic certs. Um, we have, I think, in the past 2 years hired for entry level cyber. I mean, right now there are more people trying to enter into the space than there are jobs available because there are a lot of companies who are fully on board with having a full cybersecurity team, and two, like the funnel just gets a little bit smaller because even though we have almost 10,000 team members and billion-dollar organization that services clients from all over the world, and how we protect gaming data, like our cybersecurity team is 12. um, there is a good progression path through that space where, you know, analyst one to senior manager, like there's probably 5 roles before you hit like a director level. But I think it's really starting with your certs and just keep plugging away at it. I mean, find an internship, keep applying for jobs, and you know, it's like going back to like the age old question, like you're looking for someone with experience, but how do you get experience unless you hire me with that experience? It's yeah. Start with the internship. I think you'll be successful there.
Awesome. Next one. What does a career path look like for someone moving from a sales and events role to an IT management role? And that was from Frank, who just graduated yesterday from our master's program. So congrats to you, Frank.
Frank, hats off to you. Congratulations on getting your master's. Um, so IT management, it's a little bit tricky because in IT there's a lot of different verticals or a lot of different technical expertise that like surrounds a generic IT field. Um, when you think about IT management, I think of like project managers, PMOs, maybe Scrum masters. So like I think taking the skills that you learn and starting to apply for those. The other thing that I would suggest is getting your resume to agencies. There's a lot of staffing agencies that fill roles in the tech space that could help you land, maybe, I don't want to say a low budget, but maybe like a low dollar project, like a new tech implementation, looking at tech stacks, looking at processes that maybe you could contract work out for 3 months, 6 months, and start to get experience through there. It's the question based on IT management. It's a little generic. I'd love to take a look at your resume and just see kind of if you started to identify certain spaces, certain technology, um, and maybe I can help provide some additional insight. Um, but maybe landing some contract work on a short term project would be a good start in like a PMO role.
Next
Absolutely,
question.
Jason. Thank you.
Oh, sorry about that, Frank. Next question that came in, and I want to add to this question, Melissa, if you don't mind. How do you envision the Venetian evolving over the next 5 years? And one thing I'd throw on top of that is the implementation of AI. So how are you all utilizing AI currently, and how do you see that maybe changing over the next couple of years?
Yeah. So I'll break it down into 2 parts. Envisioning the Venetian in 5 years, but also envisioning Las Vegas as a whole in 5 years. So look at 5 years back. When I think about like a brand new hockey team, brand new-ish. NFL Stadium, we have MLB coming in 20, I think it's 2027 by the time the stadium gets built. They announced some news about what that stadium area would look like. F1 coming 3 years ago. I believe that they will build an NBA stadium. Like Las Vegas is evolving kind of as a whole, where people would come here like for two things, that would be to gamble or to watch a show. And then I think the demographic has started to move away from that. So that's when we started to see things pop up like, professional sports, and then the sphere, where we're focusing in different areas versus like just getting people in to like put 20 bucks in the machine versus like come watch a show, come eat dinner, come do all these things. And then, I think gaming kind of sits not last. It's where we get our most profit, but I think it just happens naturally. So that's where I see Las Vegas evolving. There's still a lot of things that are to be done. The Venetian itself, we're working actively on continuing to gain market share. So I think the brand was not as well known 5 years ago versus where it will be 5 years from now. The Venetian's been standing since 1999. It's been around for 25 plus years, and so just now are you starting to see more branding, like things that come up on your social media, like events or entertainment. And we're continuing to hire the right people to continue to gain market share. We were somewhere like in the mid tier of the strip. And now I think the only real competitor that we have is the Win when it comes to total profit that the company brings in. So the reinvestment, opening new restaurants, um, having new entertainment, like just getting the right things here on property so people come to Vegas to visit the Venetian, and they stay here and they don't walk 17 miles up and down the strip to find what they want to do. AI. So hear it everywhere. AI in itself can be very generic, but um, we are trying to make the right decisions on AI. We've implemented things like, from my end, like smart screening, where things that, resumes are kind of reviewed at a first glance, trying to match someone to a job profile based on their skills, experiences through automation, scheduling, interviewing, like some of those things that were more administrative are moving to something that can be processed, streamlined. We've looked and had AI help kind of unpack some of our raw data. Like we have so much raw data on property, and AI helps us it very quickly. That could take hundreds of man hours to analyze and to put into spreadsheets and to build dashboards for. Have AI do those in seconds in some instances. We're also cautious in the fact that sometimes it's okay not to be a technology leader in our space. This not related to AI, but you'll see things like kiosk check-ins at some places. Like sometimes AI removes the human aspect, and when we think about the root of our business, it's people helping people, and that's never going to change. And at the core of what we do is how we service our guests, and AI can't always accomplish those efficiently. So we still have a full staff at our front desk. We still have a full staff of people answering the phones and things like that. But yeah, hopefully that answers that. I think in the next 2 years, we'll start to see what other industries do very well and maybe follow suit. There's still some uncertainty in my space. Like there's a lawsuit against Workday because AI analyzed and maybe discriminated against certain people, of whether it's an age type thing or, and those are never things you want to be like a forefront leader on. And so that's how we look at it.
No, thank you. I appreciate that. I got to throw in an AI question there to everybody and see.
Absolutely.
Uh, Next question that came in, is the casino analytics internship closer to a business financial analyst or like a database marketing analyst?
Great question. Um, it's actually both. So our casino analytics, they analyze the performance of everything gaming related. So when it comes to the database marketing, things like offers, what time, what days of the week, what time are people wanting to come in based on marketing material that we sent out. But it also analyzes like you guys may know of like a Buffalo slot machine. It's been popular now for 15 years. But like, where is a machine placed on the casino floor that maybe based on visuals or the type of machine, it has to be placed in a certain position to get the most traction. So they analyze that. They analyze like when should table minimums be raised based on how many people we have in the casino, what games perform better than others. If like a slot machine is not performing, sometimes those get removed and new inventory gets brought in. And yeah, they also take a look at our player database and see if players have certain preferences and how do we tailor our property to some of that. We also have a very large database of high-end clientele that have specific things that they prefer. They have some players who play $300,000 a hand at blackjack. Wild to me, but it definitely exists out there. So
Awesome. I'll give people another minute to, if they do have some additional questions, to post them into the chat. Just a reminder, this session is being recorded. Jason covered some fantastic information during the presentation and has done a fantastic job at answering everybody's questions. So some great resources there and some insights for people to go back and listen to. But certainly want to share out, just make sure, like, keep an eye out for that recording, that questionnaire that will be sent out sometime tomorrow along with the recording. Question did come in, is the Venetian a great company for military veterans?
absolutely. If you are a veteran, thank you for your service. We absolutely recognize, all of our veterans. We have certain programs and certain resource groups, on site for our veterans. We actively attend, and I regularly go to military events and continue to employ veterans. Veterans have sometimes it's like challenging to transition into civilian life just because the skills or how a resume is listed through your military experience. It's hard for people to visualize that into a permanent ground property. So we take every step to make sure that like we can determine all of the skills that you would bring, to the company. And, we have our Veterans Day salute, and we recognize all of our veterans every November on our marquee outside. So, this 1,000-foot digital billboard where we make sure that you guys are displayed, but a lot of different things on property to recognize that.
Awesome.
So just a really quick reminder, we post our applications for internships the last week of December. I see some of you have sent me a connection on LinkedIn. Thank you so much. I will definitely post on my feed when when those jobs are available. If it's not an internship opportunity that you're looking for, I'd love to just connect and see what those steps look like or what your interests are. And two, if it's nothing Venetia related, like I said, I'd be happy to have someone on my team help maybe your interview skills or help maybe refine your resume or just give any unsolicited feedback from their end. So a couple different opportunities available, and hopefully that we can be a part of some more of your journey.
And I don't see any other questions that have come in. And Jason, I want to give you the floor. Any closing remarks or anything that maybe we missed that you feel like would be important? I want to make sure that we give you the floor before we wrap up here.
No, thank you guys for spending almost an hour with me. This is truly what I'm passionate about taking the time to meet you guys and talk a little bit about the Venetian, but really where I get the most joy is just seeing what your next steps are. So whether you come to the Venetian and spend 10 weeks here, or you come for lunch, or you whatever, like one of my recruiters connects with you, and you land your next job because of it, like I just want to see you be successful, and hopefully, we had something to do with that.
Awesome. And Jason, I want to thank you for jumping in, taking the time to present, answering everybody's questions. Um, I know you've hired from WGU previously, so that's kind of a heads up for everybody. Hey, there's interest here, so make sure we're taking advantage of it. But Jason, thank you for jumping in and presenting, answering everybody's questions. We certainly appreciate it. And everybody, I hope you have a fantastic rest of your Tuesday. Certainly take advantage of this opportunity. So I will end the recording, and like I said, that'll be sent out tomorrow with that questionnaire that I posted into the chat. But yes, thank you again, Jason, for jumping in and presenting to us here at WGU. We certainly appreciate it.
Absolutely. Thanks, team. It was nice to meet all of you, and I'll look forward to talking to you guys very soon.
Awesome. Have a good rest of the day, everyone. Take care.